Hello and welcome to a Bleeding Heart podcast, a podcast about video games and the like. I'm your host, Mario 8th. You can find me across the internet, all at Mario 8th. I'm still on Twitter for all that means. I'm also on Tumblr and co-host. Those, I would say, are the two main ones that I'm going to be attracted to for the most part, despite also still being on Twitter. I also tried out this new one called Hive. I made a Hive account, but I've got bad feelings about it, so I don't know about that one. It's weird because it still has venture capital money backing it, although they seemed to try to scrub the fact from their personal webpage that they have VC funding. Their webpage is also like, oh yeah, this is an app only. You cannot log on to this via a website, which just feels bad. I don't usually like posting on my phone, and this is the only way to do it. It's bad for artists because they can't. They have to move their art to the phone first. It feels weird. The UI's fine. Any person can have any username. There's no locking it down. That feels really bad about it. And I don't know, I just get the EBGBs about this one. I don't know entirely why I'm on there. I thought I was on there to hold down my username, but any person can have any username. So imitation accounts, parody accounts, or whatever, people trying to scam people is going to be rampant if Hive becomes the main site and they don't somehow curb down on the multiple account username thing, which... is that even possible? Because it's already been up for a couple years now and everyone has it. Also, the Android app is in beta. It was only iPhone for a couple years and now they let Android in. It's like, ugh. It feels off. And I can't really place my finger on... I place my finger on a few things, but I can't really place my finger on what just feels off about it. But a whole bunch of people I followed moved to there just immediately. Like, starting yesterday morning, people are like, oh, Hive is here, we're on it now too. And I'm like, oh, what? What even is this? So I'm there, I follow some amount of people on it. I don't like it. Also, you can find my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Mario8th, or you can find the audio version of this podcast on anchor.fm/Mario8th. And that is it for social media woes. On to the news. So the only important piece of video game news this week is that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is getting 8 more courses December 8th. On 8th, right? December 7th. Oops. On December 7th, the Rock Cup and the Moon Cup will be releasing with the London Tour, or the Tour London Loop from Mario Kart Tour, GBA Boo Lake from Mario Kart Super Circuit, 3DS Rock Mountain from Mario Kart 7, and Wii Maple Treeway from Mario Kart Wii. Those latter two are courses I really love. Additionally, Moon Cup is going to have Tour Berlin Byways, DS Peach Gardens, Tour Merry Mountain, and 3DS Rainbow Road. And the DS1 and the 3DS1 are both two of my favorite courses, so I'm really excited for these two cups. Also, I think one of them, maybe it was the Tour Merry Mountain, looked really interesting. It looked like not just a real place, it looked like an interesting place, it looked like an interesting track. So I'm really excited for this news in general. I've played and completed all of them thus far, and I can't wait to play more Mario Kart. That's mostly it for the news. I do have a couple more quick hits, just because it seemed like I probably should talk about them if I want to actually be considered a video game news podcast. So first, it seems like Bayonetta 4 has already been confirmed by a tweet by Hideki Kamiya, and it'll apparently address the ending of Bayonetta 3, such that Bayo 4 will be, quote, an unexpected development. Again, I haven't played Bayonetta 3, but I've heard some interesting things about the ending and how heterosexuality might come into play, so it seems like Kamiya is paying attention to that critique, and who knows what they're actually going to do for Bayonetta 4. Who knows when Bayo 4 will even come out, given the development of Bayonetta 3, but they're thinking about it, and hey, I guess it already made enough money to have a third one, or have a fourth one confirmed, so good for Bayonetta fans. And the next news piece, the new Pokemon launch seems to be doing poorly, but I really don't have it in me to care much about Pokemon. I will say that my brother mentioned to me that this game was probably the worst video game launch ever. And that is such a knee-jerk reactionary statement, I can't help but disagree with it vehemently. I mean, we're coming right off the backs of Overwatch 2. Off the back of Cyberpunk 2077, a game literally pulled from Play stores due to how unplayable it was. And historically, there have been other true disasters. I think Assassin's Creed Unity was a notable example. And I'm sorry your Pokeman game is a little bit buggy, maybe a lot of bit buggy, but you're all still playing through it mostly fine. And a lot of people are playing through it completely fine. And I'm more so talking about the buggy launch, not about the quality of the game. I know the game doesn't look too pretty, and I think all Pokemon games are bad from the get-go, so lol, another one for the list. Yeah, it seems just recency bias. This is the thing everybody's talking about, so of course this is the worst video game launch ever. It's obviously not. It is so obviously not the worst video game launch ever. You can't say things like that. You have to really pull it into context. And the context here is, oh, a lot of people are having bugs every once in a while. Guess what? So many games do that. Just because this is a Pokemon one doesn't make it any different. Whatever. I can't care about Pokemon anymore, so let's move on to what I've been doing. So I beat God of War Ragnarok last night. I enjoyed it. Still got a bit more for completion, but overall it's a pretty solid game. I think my favorite part of playing the game was the character moments, and I think this is a trend across all of Sony's big first-party titles at this point, is they're able to get really good actors, and they're able to write for these actors very well. In this instance, I really loved Atreus and Angrboda's relationship. Anytime they were both on screen, I felt so happy to see them interacting with one another, but all the acting is good. Mimir is fantastic, Kratos is good, Freya is great, and they all have pretty good moments. Some are a little bit rushed, but most of them, especially the core cast of characters, they're all done very well. I will say there are some side characters that run into Atreus every once in a while that are kind of who are you? One I'm thinking of specifically, I think, is in a total of 4 scenes, and maybe minute count of 6 minutes. And I didn't understand at all why they kept bringing him back, but they kept doing it, and I keep thinking, I don't know you at all. And then there's also a late game villain that I think was poorly written. They clearly needed the player to dislike this villain, but they did it in the most boring way possible. He doesn't really have any motivation, he doesn't really have anything going, he's just the one-note bad guy. And so you don't really feel bad when, spoiler, you have to kill the bad guy in the video game, but it really could have done a little bit better on that one. The game wanted me to feel bad about it based off of what some other characters were saying, but to me it's I don't know, you should have written this guy with a little bit, you should have written it so this guy was a little bit more, not compassionate. It was a little easier for the player to be compassionate towards this character. I'm missing a word I'm trying to say right there, but whatever. Overall, God of War, pretty good. I'm thinking I'm going to be able to finish it by this Thanksgiving weekend, so that the rest of the weekend I'll be able to just chug out a few more Mario in review videos. I really want to get ahead. I have up to New Super Mario Bros., the original, the DS game, uploaded, and I'd like to get a few more. And lastly, I've also been continuing to play Mario Kart Tour again, and I'm not entirely sure why. I've basically fallen into the exact same way I played when Mario Kart Tour first came out. I log in every day, I do whichever new race is unlocked, and then I log off. Now there's multiplayer races that I absolutely despise. I've always been really good at Mario Kart, but now that I can't be good at Mario Kart because I'm losing the controls that make me good at it. I'm good at steering and drifting and making sure my item management is in check, but in this game, I can't do any of that. I can't drift well unless there is a turn, I can't control well because I'm just moving my thumb around. And because I don't have the skill set that makes me good at Mario Kart, oh, I suck at this Mario Kart when playing against other people. I'm really feeling the RNG of, oh, how the heck did I just get hit there? I got hit by nothing. And not only did I get hit by nothing, I got hit by nothing and now I'm in last place. I've gotten last place more in Mario Kart Tour than in any other Mario Kart game ever. And I've only played a couple dozen Mario Kart Tour multiplayer matches, maybe less than that. So it's frustrating. I'm gonna keep doing it because there's something wrong with me, but the game's fine. I was also going to play a little bit of RuneScape today, but I sat down to listen to a podcast and then play RuneScape, and then I looked at the app and it wasn't loading. And then I said, oh, weird. So I closed the app, opened it back up again, and it wasn't loading. And so I went to Twitter, looked at the RuneScape account, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be down till 12 GMT, which is 5 p.m. for me. And I'm like, oh, bummer. I was going to play a bit of that. Alright, last thing is Andor. Andor. Star Wars is Andor. Oh my gosh, Andor. That's all I can say. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this Andor series is the best Star Wars thing we have gotten since at least before Disney bought Star Wars. It is so good. I love it so much. The season finale is airing when I release this episode, so I'll be watching it sometime in the afternoon of it, and I cannot wait. I even bought this stupid little Lego set, the Ambush on Ferrex, because I wanted a little Lego of my pathetic little boy Cyril Karn. I love that sad little man so much. Andor's a real good show. If you're not watching it, please watch it. It is so good, and I'm so happy we get an entire other season of it. I hope Disney makes more stuff like this. It's so good. I can't get enough of Andor. But I can get enough of this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like more, again, you can find all the links to whatever socials I may or may not be using. You can't even do links on Hive. Not really. It's weird to get to it, so most people have just been posting their username. But again, anyone can have the same username, or at least the same @. So it's not really doing anything. You just have to make sure that the picture of the profile they're pasting matches up with the picture of the profile you're looking at in the app, and it's bad. Anyway, you can find me there. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, co-host, ggapp.io. You can find my YouTube channel at youtube.com/MarioWaith, where I do video game reviews. Mario interviews going well. And if you're not listening to this on an audio podcatcher, you can find where you can at anchor.fm/MarioWaith. Leave a review somewhere if you'd like to. I've got a comment section on the YouTube version. I've got iTunes. You can do it on iTunes, I'm pretty sure. I hear that helps. I'm not entirely sure. And if you'd liked it, tweet at me, I guess. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.